What's up, everybody? Nate here from Out of the Basement, bringing you a brand new action figure review. Today, from Star Wars The Black Series, we are taking a look at the Target exclusive Mandalorian Remnant Stormtrooper. This is, of course, the latest Target exclusive to hit the shelves, which thankfully this one has been pretty easy to get. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at the package here. Of course, this is the brand new Black Series packaging with the open window and the side artwork there. You can see the really nice shot of the Remnant Trooper there. You got the logo at the top. On the bottom, it says Star Wars The Mandalorian Remnant Trooper. On the back, here is the bio of the figure, if you want to go ahead and pause it and read it, as well as a larger image of that same picture on the side of the box. Over here, of course, we have the little Black Series logo, and on the bottom, there's the barcode and such, and on the top, there's really not a whole lot going on. So we pretty much know what we're going to get out of this figure. It is ultimately the 2020 Stormtrooper, just repainted, but we're going to go ahead, we'll take a look at the one accessory and then the figure itself. All right, and here is the one and only accessory. It is the E11 blaster from The Mandalorian, which is slightly upgraded. It's got like the little flashlight attachment on it. And then it also has this larger sort of magazine sticking out of the side. And just for a quick comparison, the bottom is the old E11 blaster that came with most of the Black Series Stormtroopers. So you can see they are definitely different. The new one's a little bit smaller as well. But there's absolutely no paint on this at all. Just pure black plastic. I really think this figure should have come with the like Death Trooper pistol that we see the Remnant Troopers use, or the Shore Trooper gun. I think it would have made this figure just have a little bit more variety to it than it just coming with the E11. But if you're like me and you have a large Black Series collection, you have an absolute arsenal of different weapons that you can equip your Stormtrooper with. So now with this out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at the figure. All right, and here is the Remnant Stormtrooper out of the packaging, looking pretty decent. I honestly think that this figure definitely could have turned out a little bit better. I certainly have my gripes with the paint apps. Of course, we know that on this new Stormtrooper body, the articulation is going to be fantastic, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure you can see, just taking a look right now while it's rotating around, the back of the figure, pretty much a barren wasteland of paint apps. The figure itself kind of has like a toasted marshmallow look to it. And I honestly think like the scraping, like the parts of the armor that are not supposed to be like white anymore, is a little bit too exaggerated. I just recently rewatched the episode with the Remnant Troopers in it from Mandalorian, just to make sure I wasn't crazy. And yeah, I think it's honestly a little extreme, but let's go ahead. We're going to take him off the stand and get a closer look. All right, and here we are up close and personal. You can really see what I am talking about here. I think all the sort of gray paint that has been applied to this figure is just a little extreme, especially under the eyes and over the helmet right here. I would have definitely preferred them to give it more of like this sort of, like I was saying, a toasted marshmallow look throughout the figure, rather than putting all of this like paint chipping effect on it, which I really don't think is too terribly accurate to the show. Does it ultimately ruin this figure? Not in the slightest. I'm still happy to have this figure, but I just think that the gray paint kind of looks a little funky. Of course, though, it is the new 2020 Stormtrooper, so the details of the actual body and helmet itself are really nice. You can see he's got all of those features on there, like the little gray pieces on the helmet, on the back of the helmet, they are there as well, on the side. So all of those little nice paint details are still there. The eyes are painted fairly well. The mouthpiece also has really clean apps to it. And then, of course, you even get those tiny bits of silver there for like the ventilation part of the helmet. And then moving down, you can see the shoulder here has more of the battle damage to it. And the armor itself kind of has that toasted marshmallow tinge, but it's really oddly missing in some places, like on the hands and this gauntlet and this bicep. It's missing in places you'd think it would be in based on how the rest of the armor is. Of course, just moving down, you can see more of that tinge all the way down to the actual feet of the figure there. So, I mean, the weathering is all right. I think it should have been a little bit more weathered in terms of like the sandiness not so much of like the gray paint. And you can see that the belt is almost completely clean as well. And then of course we flip it to the back of the figure and you just get absolutely nothing, which is no surprise coming from Hasbro. They never really put any paint apps on the back of the figure. There is a little bit of gray for the Oreo container, as Justin always calls it, and there is some toasted marshmallowness to it. But I think it's really funny how this just completely stops right there, just making it really look like mechanical, and that this was actually made by a, you know, that the paint apps were applied by a machine, which obviously they were. It's a mass-produced figure. But just the way it kind of starts and stops doesn't really look like natural battle damage to me. And it doesn't help, too, that if you get more than one of these guys, I'm pretty sure the paint apps are 100% the same across the board. But overall, I think those are really kind of nitpicky things about this figure. Of course, the base 2020 Stormtrooper is absolutely fantastic. The details are a lot more movie accurate. The helmet might be a little small, but that's really the only complaint that I could really even think about having in terms of the base body itself. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the articulation. Okay, so the head can look up a pretty decent amount here. You have a joint at the base of the helmet right there, and then also at the neck. He can look down about that far. Of course, you can exorcist him around, and you do get plenty of attitude there, which I think is especially important for the Remnant Stormtrooper since they're kind of sassy all the time. And of course, you can see that, yeah, there still is the unpainted head underneath the helmet there. The shoulders actually go out really far. Of course, they can rotate all the way around there, but you gotta kind of mess with that shoulder pad there, which it's nice and soft and it gets out of the way. And that's always appreciated. You do kind of have to put it back down, though. It does have some give to it, although it is not actually articulated. Of course, the figure does have butterfly joints as well. You do get single jointed elbows that give you more than 90 degrees. Swivel at the elbow. Rotation on this trigger finger with the vertical hinge. Very important, very crucial. And the other wrist is also a trigger finger, but it has the horizontal hinge. As far as the crunch is concerned, you get about that far forward, and you get a really decent amount back there, and you can even see a little bit of gapping through the figure itself. It does also rotate, and of course you can get him to do a little bit of side-to-side action there. So pretty decent range of motion. The legs can do the splits about that far. You can actually kick up very far. Pretty awesome range there. You do get thigh swivel. Single jointed knees that give you just a hair over 90 degrees. Also swivel at the knee. And finally for the feet here, they can move down very far. You can move up a really decent amount as well. And of course, you get ankle pivot. So yeah, overall, the articulation, you guys know it on this 2020 Stormtrooper. It's absolutely awesome. I just love the way the 2020 Stormtrooper looks, the pinless design, the updated articulation. It's wonderful. It's a really great update to a figure that was pretty good in the first place. I know some people do miss those double jointed knees, but honestly, I don't really care one way or the other. I think the posability is still significantly better on this trooper. So now we're going to go ahead, we'll put him back here, and I'll show you how he scales. All right, first up, here he is with the Blue Line Sand Trooper and a clean 2020 Stormtrooper. Then here he is with my custom Remnant Stormtrooper and the Incinerator Trooper. And here he is with the Beskar Black Series Mandalorian, and then the SH Figuarts IG-11. Then with the SH Figuarts Tank Pilot and the Mafex First Order Stormtrooper. Then with the Bandai Model Kit Scarif Trooper and the Diamond Select Boba Fett. And finally with the Bandai Movie Realization Shadow Stormtrooper and the Hasbro Snake Eyes. So overall, I definitely think this figure could have been a little bit better when it comes to the paint app department, but overall, I'm still very happy to have this one in the collection. I will literally buy any 2020 Stormtrooper that Hasbro cooks up because it is just such a fantastic figure. Definitely think he could have come with some different accessories, like I have him with the Death Trooper pistol blaster in his hand right now. Alternatively, like in the show, they also use the Scarif Trooper weapon. So really, I think they could have switched it up just a little bit. But again, not really the biggest deal when you're a longtime collector like myself and you have an absolute arsenal that you can just have more weapons for your troopers. For new collectors, I can definitely see that being a major bummer if you don't have those figures. But yeah, that's really my review for this figure. I think it is still a very solid release despite the paint app issues and the lack of different accessories. But the body itself more than makes up for it, and I always love to add more troopers to the ranks. So what do you guys think of this figure? Of course, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed my review, don't forget to leave a like on this video. Subscribe if you are new. We're always talking about Star Wars The Black Series here on the channel. Of course, I'm Nate from Out of the Basement. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.